Hello and welcome to PhotoPaint X4. This is a quick overview of the workspace and many of the new features in PhotoPaint X4. I do recommend please watch the CorelDRAW workspace and new features tour, as there are many topics that are also relevant to PhotoPaint. Well, I'm quickly going to open our welcome booklet by clicking on the Quick Start tab. The first new area we want to look at, of course, is these wonderful big thumbnails that we can see of our most recently saved or opened files, and all of that document information that helps us to remember what that file's all about. I'm going to turn the page and look at what's new. And under what's new, you've got a number of areas. If, for example, we choose workflow, you'll notice that we're in welcome, what's new, workflow. And you can learn all about the brand new features we've got right there. You can also scroll through these pages and you'll notice our path changing up the top there. It's worthwhile spending some time familiarizing yourself with what's new. Under Learning Tools, I do recommend spend some time looking at the video tutorials. I've specifically put these together to teach you workflow processes in PhotoPaint. And there's Corel Tutor, insights from the experts, etc. Don't forget, visit the gallery every now and then. There's some amazing images in there created by experts using CorelDRAW. Okay, back to the Quick Start tab, and I'm going to open my first document. PhotoPaint X4 now supports the updated file formats of Painter 10, the latest standards in PDF, and the new file format of Photoshop CS3. In addition to this, the X4 suite now supports the new Adobe Color Management module. This is a color engine developed by Adobe for the purpose of achieving consistent color workflows between programs that have the ability to utilize a common color engine. Now, this is packaged with many Adobe products, or if you don't have it, you may need to download from the Adobe website. It's a free download. Once installed, come up to Tools, Color Management, choose the center icon, and as you can see under Color Engine here, you can choose the Adobe Color Management module from the drop-down list. Click OK, click OK. And I recommend you do this in both PhotoPaint and CorelDRAW if you're working with other products that can support this color engine. PhotoPaint has a brand new look and feel. You will have already noticed a number of colored icons throughout the menus, and of course brand new styled icons and a beautiful integration with Windows Vista. We've touched on many of these subjects in the CorelDRAW workspace tour, so I recommend spend some time there. Just quickly, at the top we have the title bar, the menu bar where we access all of our drop-down menus. Then we have the standard toolbar, the property bar, and of course the toolbox, which I've detached and taken a picture of over here. Well, what I want to show you right now, in fact I recommend you always do this with new versions, come up to Help and come down to Highlight What's New and at least choose Since Version X3. And that's why you can see these orange areas that have been highlighted. You'll see them throughout the menus as well, lots of highlighted areas indicating something new or something improved. I want to show you now the integration with the Windows Vista operating system. So what I'm going to do is bring up the welcome screen and quite simply come down to Open Other, and let's have a look at how this all works. All of the X4 open and import dialog boxes have been integrated with Windows Vista features. For example, the search option. If I click in here and type .cpt, instantly my PhotoPaint files appear, and they appear with much larger thumbnails, and in fact you can even make them larger. If you come up to View and choose Extra Large Icons, as you can see, extra large icons. Well, I'm going to stay just with large icons because I've got the preview pane turned on. That means when I choose a document, I can see a larger thumbnail display anyway. Down the bottom here, you can also see details about that document. You can turn these two panes on by coming up to Organize, down to Layout, and simply turn them on by selecting these options here. Well, for right now, I'm going to choose this file, Eli, out of the box. Overcoming problems like this photograph being poorly scanned, slightly rotated, is now very simple. All we have to do is come up to Adjust and choose Straighten Image. This new tool makes it very easy to correct this problem. Now what I'm going to do is increase the number of grids, so we've got a nice grid line running alongside our image, and then all I have to do is slide the rotation slider. And when I believe I have my image nicely lined up with the grid, which I believe I do, there we go, simply click OK. Now we have a corrected image. We're presently in the Image Adjustment Lab. Now while this is not new, there is something new down here, and that's a histogram. This histogram has been added in X4 and provides live feedback. If, for example, I were to slide the brightness across here, you can see the image change, but also the histogram changes instantly, so we can see what we're doing to our image. Now I'm not going to spend time here, I simply wanted to show you this addition. So I'll close this, but I will come up to Adjust and down to Tone Curve. Now the tone curve has been improved, but it also has the addition of this new histogram. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to color correct this image, but I'm only going to use the histogram as a guide. So what I want to do is I want to go to the upper end of my curve here, and effectively I'm trying to move colored pixels to the right to lighten the image. I have mid-tone colors over here in the middle of my curve, and I'm also going to move those to the right a little to brighten the image. But additionally, I'm going to add two more nodes down the bottom here. This bottom node I'm going to use to maintain the contrast and darkness of the image. You can see how that spread that across there. And then this other node here, I'm going to use that as a final touch to making sure I don't have too big a grouping of pixels down the bottom here. So I'm just going to adjust that like that. One last tweak, as you can see, and for a quick adjustment that's not too bad. The tone curve looks a lot better. It would be better if the histogram was going all the way to the right. The more you learn about histograms, the better you will be at color correcting your images. Well, I'm going to click OK. We're going to have a look at another brand new feature. If we come up to Object, Create, and look at New Lens, we can see there are three brand new lenses: black and white, channel mixer, and the gradient map. But I'm going to look at black and white. Click OK. Notice the cyan colors here. What this does is this allows me to have control over various hues within the image. Now, as I pointed out, those stripes there are cyan in color. If I adjust the cyan slider, watch those stripes. See how they're adjusting? So I've got a lot of individual control throughout this image. The reds and the yellows will affect the skin tone. So if I adjust the red up just a little, that'll lighten the skin tone. If I adjust the yellow up a little, that'll also lighten the skin tone, as you can see. There's a fair bit of dark blue in this image, so again I'm going to lighten the dark blue, and you can see how it's starting to lighten various areas. What I really love is the ability to add a tint. So if I click Tint, I can actually add a color now to my grayscaled image. I'm just going to slide that back toward the yellow a little bit more. I'm trying to go for that sepia type look. I think that looks pretty good. So I'm going to click OK to that, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to combine my image to the background. I'm going to go back to the tone curve, up to Adjust, and back to the tone curve, set myself 3 points. I just want to I really ultimately want to affect just that upper area, which hopefully will brighten. See how it's brightened in those lighter areas, which is that typical slightly overexposed sepia look. What do you think? That was fairly easy. The new lenses are excellent. In the last area of our tour, we're looking at the new support for raw camera files. If you open or import a raw digital file, this is the new dialog box you will see. Your digital camera should offer you the ability to save your photographs in a raw or compressed state, such as JPEGs. Compressed state means that you will lose quality and image detail, whereas raw, everything about that photograph is kept within the file, much like, in fact, they're often referred to as digital negatives. They even contain such information as the camera that was used, shutter speed, aperture, ISO settings, etc. Then there are a number of options here for color correcting your image. And as you can see here, I've corrected this image and it now far more resembles the original flower. Now I've done this by bringing out more detail from the darker areas by warming up the color temperature. Well, I'm quickly going to cancel this, and you can see what I've done with that image, because really photo paint makes the digital canvas so appealing and so easy to work with. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tour. Bye for now.